What's going on, guys? How you doing? This is the comments section. Number 8. Amazing. Okay, first up, Kevin Hampton, 6986. What's happening? Ghost of a Chance, Snakes and Arrows. Possibly their most underrated, overlooked song. I'll agree. Although I think that there's probably a fair amount of them. Available Light comes to mind. I think that's pretty overlooked. I think that's a really different Rush song. What else? What else can we pull out that is overlooked? I mean, I always like Tears. I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to tell me that Cinderella Man is overlooked because chemistry's great. I mean, there's also songs that they play all the time, stuff like that. Red Lenses, I always scream Red Lenses. Kid Gloves is a good one. I mean, all of Grace Under Pressure is fantastic. But yeah, Red Lenses, I think, is super overlooked. Like people just think it's a joke. And it's like, yo, that's a nice one. Yeah, Ghost of a Chance is really, I mean, Ghost of a Chance is a really good one. Double Agent was pretty cool. I remember that one. I need to listen to that one again. It's been a minute. What was on this? Anything good? This album was really hard. Whew, I'm looking at Test for Echo. Test for Echo and Hold Your Fire are really, like, to me, the two that are, oh man. Ghost Rider is a really good one. Yeah, I mean, is it overlooked? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, so yeah, we got a handful. We got a handful that I'd say are overlooked. Next, Lil River Band. Help is on its way. Yar 9333. What's happening? They're not really still around. I saw an interview not long ago on YouTube with one of the original members who is disgusted that apparently one of the old members owns the name and hires musicians to go out on the road as the Little River Band, playing casinos, fairs, etc. Sometimes more than one group at a time so he can make more money. This guy's doing business, apparently. And he also has had studio musicians re-record the song so that different collections of greatest hits, best ofs, etc. could be released. And this guy owns all the rights to the new recording. So again, he makes all the money. And most people don't realize that it's really just a cover band at this point. Okay, so now you're talking about some music business stuff. And again, what do we say about the music business? Music business is mostly garbage, and it's based on stealing. Right? I mean, you know, when you get down to it and you look at like the dark side of it. Business, right? He owns the name, he could do what he wants. Like it or not. Like it or not. If he owns it, he could do what he wants. He can re-record all that stuff. Taylor Swift did that recently, right? She didn't own masters and she re-recorded all of her shit. And now she gets paid for that stuff. Those recordings, right? Those specific, that's the part that like is interesting to me. I'm like, so wait a minute, they sound the same? They basically sound the same. Can you decipher which one's which? Can I get an A-B? I mean, I'm not a Swiftie or whatever, so I'm not listening to her music in that kind of way or at all, basically, unless I have to play a song. How many songs of hers have I played on gigs? I don't think many. Shake It Off. Probably that's it. Maybe one other. But, you know, same kind of thing in terms of that. And then, you know, I mean, look at like, okay, there's Earth, Wind, and Fire, and then there's Al McKay doing his Earth, Wind, and Fire All-Stars or whatever they're called, or Al McKay All-Stars, right? I mean, Al McKay wrote September. Hello. You know, he's one of the writers on September. Okay, he was in Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know, no different than like Larry Dunn. Right? I think Larry Dunn has done his own gigs where it's like Earth, Wind & Fire Experience, Larry Dunn music, stuff like that. These guys still probably need to make money at some capacity and want to do gigs. You know, I mean, who's really retiring unless you have, you know, like, to me, I can't, the idea of retiring in what you think of as retiring, like, oh, I never have to work again. It's like, I don't know. This is some other kind of like talk or whatever, philosophical whatever talk or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's nice, that's great, but I still would like to. I still want to because I'm still alive. You know, no matter how old you are, like, yeah, okay, maybe you slow down and do that. Anyways, another example is Blackfoot. You guys know that southern rock band Blackfoot. Ricky Medlock is in Atlanta Skynyrd. And he owns Blackfoot, and he has his players, his people that he hires to go and be Blackfoot and perform that music and keep that music going. He could do what he wants, you know? And then it's up to you whether or not you want to go to the show or not. It's like, I am a Pantera fan. I'm not specifically going to see this version of Pantera, even though I like Zakk Wylde and I love Pantera, so Phil Anselmo, Rex Brown, all that stuff. And Charlie Benanti, that's cool. That's cool. Cool. I mean, if somebody gave me tickets, yeah, I would go. But I'm not specific. I saw them already. I saw the real thing already, luckily. So I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm going to see Pantera in 2023. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, especially at concert tickets prices nowadays. Oh, my wife was on Groupon the other day and she was like, oh, here's these concert tickets, $25. I was like, really? Who? Where? And I mean, it was nothing that I wanted to go and see, but I was like, okay, maybe we need to keep an eye on this, because I went to go, I did a couple of Smashing Pumpkins videos recently, and I was like, you know, I should probably see their tour was underneath one of the videos that I was watching. I was like, they're coming to Florida. I should check them out. Wow. And then I looked at the ticket prices. I was like, you know, I think I could just watch on YouTube. I think I could just watch on YouTube. I'm not going to pay. I have other things. Would I rather have $150 per ticket? So, like, would I rather have $300? Or would I rather go to this concert? I'd rather have $300. That's it. That's the answer. That's the answer. I have other things to do with $300. That's the answer. So $25 per ticket. I mean, shit, if it was $50 per ticket, I probably would have pulled the trigger. But $150? And we're not talking about entry-level seats. Not lawn, but, you know. Anyways, it's tough. It's tough. Music business. You know, it's tough. Yeah, and people don't realize, they don't care. Did you see the XTC video that I did? The XTC video? What was it? I forget the name of the song. But go to it. Go watch the XTC video. I was saying ecstasy because I didn't know the band. I don't know the band, right? But people were correcting me. It's XTC. And the thumbnail is me like this, not because of the music, because of their story, their music business story. Those guys made nothing, no money, no freaking money. And I read a ton of it. It's on that video. Go watch it. It's another story like this. It's just out of control. It's out. I mean, that specific story was really, really just like intensely wrong. Really out of control. So, but you know, I mean, this is life. This is the world that we live in. This is how it's been. You know, like it's just what it is. I don't see it changing. I don't. You know, I mean, that's a whole other discussion. Anyways, all right, next. Rush Tom Sawyer Presto Tour. Garen Wiggins, 99.57. What's going on? On our show in Houston, one of the bunnies deflated. The opening act was Mr. Big with Billy Sheehan on bass. Yes, of course. There he was, playing his heart out. Really amazing, yet no one seemed to care. They were waiting for Geddy. Yeah, Billy Sheehan is ridiculous. I prefer Billy Sheehan. Geddy's great. He's got his thing. Billy Sheehan is like a whole other level, in my opinion. Billy Sheehan is like a whole other level. He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. I mean, while he probably was listening to Geddy, he also was listening to Tim Bogert and Vanilla Fudge. So, and that guy is also great. Like, he's great. He's a great bass player. Yeah, Billy Sheehan is ridiculous. Mr. Big and Mr. Big with Rush, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. I don't know all of Mr. Big or a ton of Mr. Big, but just I know enough to get that. Okay. I mean, you know, they toured with Rush toured with Kiss, so not that Mr. Big is Kiss. I'm not saying that at all, but just, you know, these bands and acts and who they throw together, and, you know, whenever it's the headliner, usually it's, you know, people are going for the headliner, and it's exposure and work for the opening act. And, you know, if they can get some of the fans to be into them, like, oh, these guys are actually pretty interesting, I've never heard them before, then that's a win. That was it for me with Lamb of God. I went to go and see Lamb of God at Birch Hill in New Jersey. I don't even know if that place is there anymore. It may not be. I went to go and see him at Birch Hill in New Jersey in like the late 90s. And it was right before New American Gospel came out. Their first album as Lamb of God, because before they were called Burn the Priest. That was their name or whatever. And they blew me the fuck away. I was like, what the hell is this? This is ridiculous. These guys are sick. And I went out and I pre-ordered the CD that next day. It was incredible. I mean, it's cool when that happens. You know, like it's cool when that happens. Anyways, what do we got next? Tom Sawyer Presto. Christoph Mosur 9413. What's happening? I like The Wall on Hold Your Fire, but it's not a rock album. I know you've been through that, but I think on Open Secrets and some others, it sounds really cool, but not for anything resembling rock. No, just no. I play metal on my 50s style Telecaster sometimes, but it takes work, and sometimes it sounds good, but mostly it's just too thin and doesn't work. Same here. You can almost tell Geddy is sometimes playing harder than he normally does just to get some bite, and it's just not there. The bass just goes boing, a loud boing. Yeah, you need the right tools for the job. I understand they were experimenting and they were like working on different songs and types of songs and sounds, really working on different sounds and trying to like adapt with technology and where music was going sonically and how things sounded, right? Because music was different in the 80s, right? And as the 80s progressed, I get that they were changing that, and trying to adjust with it, but The Wall was just so wrong. He should have stuck with the Steinberger. I think the Steinberger sounded better than The Wall. Someone else commented, I don't know if I saved it for one of these videos, but someone else said that they liked The Wall a little bit better than the Steinberger, and I am not that way. I actually liked when you saw the Grace Under Pressure tour and he's playing the Steinberger. I'm like, this actually sounds good. It sounds pretty good, like for what it is, with this bass with no headstock and more importantly no body. It sounds pretty good. He's getting a bit of grit out of it, you know, like anything is more gritty than a Wall. He could have just sung his bass lines into a microphone, yeah, and it would have had more hair on it than the Wall bass. That Wall is just wrong. I'm not even sure what it would sound good on. Maybe soft rock? Maybe? I don't know. It's just really, or easy listening, or I don't know, something that requires a really light, delicate touch. I don't mean on the instrument, just like, I don't know, I just think of like those kind of things that are like really like soft, like cotton, or like a fluffy bunny, or like I'm just trying to think of ridiculous things. I'm not trying to point this towards like Presto or I said bunny. I'm just thinking of like you know, anything. Anyways, ridiculous. I don't know if I'm gonna cut a lot of that out. I feel like I'm making no sense. At least to you guys. To me, it makes sense. At least what I'm trying to say. But I have an image and a vision in my head. Anyways, okay. Yeah, you need the right tool for the job. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And this is why Fender is one of the most popular, renowned, all of it, because the instruments that they make are intensely well-rounded and just perfect for most jobs. So for bass, that's the jazz bass, in my opinion. The P bass too, honestly. Either of them. They are different, but either of them. I mean, I play my jazz bass like a P bass. I don't use both pickups, although I will sometimes depending on the song. But 99% of the time, I'm only using the neck pickup. I'm not using the bridge pickup. And I'll adjust the tone how I want it. Usually I have it on all the way. so that it's like brighter, right? And I get some more of that like kind of clack or attack kind of thing. It's not so, you know, that. P-Bass has a sound. And then for guitars, a Strat or a Tele, those are two excellent choices depending on what you're doing. Like, excellent choices. Now, okay, yeah, Les Pauls and okay, right. There are other instruments. More so for guitar than for bass, I would say. I mean, if we're not talking about upright bass, because that's kind of sort of different altogether. But as a bass player, if all you have is Fender Jazz Bass, you can do probably every gig. Probably every gig. You know, if you got a 4-string and a 5-string, you're good. You're good. You're pretty much good. Are there other instruments that may be better for like metal or like specific genres? Sure. Could you get away with playing a Fender? Yes. Totally could. You absolutely could. Absolutely could. Can you get away with playing a wall? No. 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 I think I'm going to cut it there. I'll do another one because, you know, I like to yap, apparently. And it makes these videos longer. So, and, you know, I don't want them too crazy long. So, there'll be another one. Thank you, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.